Hello there, it's Tuesday the 13th of January 2026 and you're welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana here on Metro TV. It's another day for us to serve our motherland. We're here to make sure that we discuss all the pertinent issues to help build the country. My name is Desmond Okreko. Many thanks for joining us. We're on till 2 p.m. as we do always. And the program is live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana and also on DSTV channel 277. You can also listen to us live on the radio on 94.1 FM. As always, we're going to have the news updates and later we delve into all the conversations. Of course, today we'll be looking at the Bank of Ghana. Yesterday, the governor appeared before the Public Accounts Committee. Some figures were put out in terms of losses that the Bank of Ghana has incurred. But what really is this, how do we understand this? How does the layman who watches the TV or listens to radio understand what these losses are? And so we'll be speaking to an economist to help us understand all of these issues from the quarters of the Bank of Ghana and several other issues that we'll be talking about here on the show. For now, Helen Aniwaja is standing by to bring us the news updates. Helen, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well this month. How are you?
I'm okay. What senior high school did you attend?
Say that again.
What senior high school did you attend?
The Greater Kim State College, the greatest in the East.
Okay, looks like you can be an ambassador.
Which school did you attend?
So if you notice this morning there was the launch of the the schools program that we're bringing to you right here on Metro TV. So watch out for that. Of course, Tamasco, we are in there strong and firm. So Ellie, take us away with the news updates.
Okay, it's now time for us to get into the latest news updates coming up this afternoon. In Tashila, an environment search for water crisis persists in part of the capital. We will tell you more. Of the road traffic in South
Start your Kids Day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
Good morning, Mr. Ding.
Good morning, Ejako. And why do you keep staring at my rubbish container?
I'm surprised you're still using a bin without a cover. You know it can cause a mess.
My bin is just fine. Look, there is no leakage, still solid and robust. If you will excuse me, I have work to do.
Yo.
This cat, pa.
Dustbins are a great way of keeping trash off the street and homes. However, the use of bins without fitting covers pose a challenge with stench from rotten items, flies, and scavengers. Keep the environment clean and healthy. Get dustbins with fitting covers.
What at all does he see in her that he's not seeing in me? Look at me!
Eugene and Anekia made a choice.
You won't believe what Pam and Anekia have done to me.
Abstain.
Why abstain?
I have been seeing through your shenanigans all night.
I thought I told you that I didn't want to see that girl in this house again.
I'm sorry, Cinnamon.
You have lost. I've won the battle. Get over it.
Battle?
Whiny.
I like you very much. That's why I brought you this.
Protect me?
Yes, I'm ready to listen to you.
Eugene Clark. That boy. That womanizer.
You are old enough. I would like you to man up to choose among these two.
Now, the baby is baby. So you are coming to come and see.
Sometimes I just sit and then regret what really happened.
Take care to prevent pregnancy.
Just stop it. They have to pay for what they've done to me.
Be ready for the storm coming up for you. The revenge is not necessary.
We're sorry for that hitches there. Welcome back from the break. Now we're coming live to you from the Ikea Wahima studio here at Northridge. On to our first story for this afternoon. My name is Helena Nyewejana. Residents of the Gamewe Electoral area in the Southstone district of the Volta region are appealing for urgent government intervention as deplorable road conditions continue to make life unbearable. This has cut them off from accessing vehicles to transport themselves and their goods to and from the market, and this has affected health care as well as learning. Now, Gabriel Asempa has some more.
The Gamewe Electoral area, which comprises 13 communities, becomes nearly inaccessible after heavy rains, leaving residents stranded and cutting off school children, traders, and patients from essential services. Deep potholes filled with muddy water and washed out sections of the road have made movement extremely difficult. Many residents, especially school children, are often seen trekking through mud just to reach school or the nearby market.
When it's rain, maybe we'll absent ourselves, or other rivers, we pass some ways before we go. At times we absent, at times we struggle and go to school.
Residents say the situation has not only affected education, but also access to health care. The only health center serving the area has become difficult to reach, forcing some residents to travel long distances on foot or rely on motorbikes, which often get stuck in the mud.
We find it difficult to get to the next village, especially those who are on sick bed. The pregnant women, they find it difficult to get to the nearest health center. So we are appealing to the government to help us, at least to let the road be more trouble for us.
Market women, farmers and fishermen in the area also counting their losses. They say transporting foodstuffs and goods to nearby towns has become nearly impossible, leading to rising costs of basic commodities.
We were going to pick some load. The road is very bad and so muddy, and the cars don't like coming to our community because of the bad nature of the road. People normally fall in the mud. We are always worried on how to get loads and goods from other communities.
The assembly member for the area, Sarah Mgla, expressed grave concern over the state of the roads and the impact it has on livelihoods.
This is the road that connects the entire 13 communities and beyond to the sister market called Anyangwi Market. So our mothers, our brothers, everybody plies these routes through to Anyangwi. When it rains or the road gets flooded, most of the kids behind the mud, as you say, finds it difficult to come to school.
As climate change causes heavy rains at this time of the year, we are appealing to the South Tong District Assembly, the Ministry of Roads and Highways, and other relevant agencies to urgently rehabilitate the road linking the 13 communities.
Now, politics. The New Patriotic Party has disclosed that it's taking steps to expel Professor Kwabena from the party. Now we're from there. The Kasoa Motor Traffic and Transport Division Commander Superintendent Hannah Ejay has cautioned tricycle operators and owners to comply with the Road Traffic Amendments Bill to curb road accidents. Speaking at a union workshop in Kasoa, she stressed that the union must monitor operators, noting that many crashes stem from overspeeding and wrongful overtaking.
Parliament on Thursday, December 11, 2025, passed the Road Traffic Amendment Bill 2025, officially legalizing the commercial operation of motorcycles, tricycles, and quadricycles in Ghana. This bill, otherwise referred to as the Okada Legalization Bill, sought to sanitize a sector which was highly unregulated. Speaking at the training in Kasoa, the NTTD commander, Hannah Ejay, stressed that tricycles should only be given to licensed operators aged 22 and above. She charged the union to enforce strict monitoring on the roads.
About 21, because reduction of the age from 25 to 21, and don't just say, and one legalize and a final legalization. But in the interim now, what are we doing? Say, yeah, Yabama almost right tricycle, no send your banana. Minia from immigration or Casa Asana Ode tricycle no bema obino ye sure say nipa no eye Ghanani. But as no the bema Ghanani ye sure say or yet below 21.
National Chairman of the Tricycle Union Operators, Hamza Hafiz, urged operators to behave responsibly on roads, avoid drugs while riding, maintain neat appearance, ride safely, and avoid recklessness. He added that the tricycle operators must join unions and obtain union cards for better regulation.
Abide by the road traffic regulations and the new rules that are going to come. We are not going to sit down and allow anybody to mess this up. And so those who don't like bathing, those who are abusing drugs, those who are driving recklessly, it is better you change or you tap them and go and find another way to do.
Now, the South Day District Chief Executive in the Volta region, Courage Kwame Kokoroko, has appealed to Okada riders in the district to refrain from alcohol abuse and the use of intoxicating substances while riding to reduce crashes. He has called on the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service to intensify public education and sensitization programs for Okada riders. Gabriel Asempa has more.
Okada has become one of the major and most convenient means of transportation in the South Dai district, while also providing employment opportunities for many young people. However, many of these riders operate without the required regulatory documents. To address this challenge, the Member of Parliament for South Dai constituency, Roxanne Nelson Dafiameko, took the initiative to acquire and distribute rider licenses to a number of Okada operators in the district. The intervention is aimed at promoting responsible riding.
We have engaged the MTTD unit to also be doing the education. That is what we are doing. At community level, we continue to educate them that you don't drink and drive. When you drink, don't ride, don't drive. So we are always educating them.
Meanwhile, the Assembly member for the Germany West electoral area, John Abochi, encouraged Okada riders to insure their motorbikes to protect themselves, the passengers, and their livelihoods.
As an assembly member of this community, I'm also adding my voice that it is good for them, for their own safety, to at least insure their motorbikes. We are encouraging the motor riders, definitely for them to register, to at least to insure their motorbikes. It's very safe.
Some of the Okada riders who benefited from the license distribution expressed gratitude to the Member of Parliament, noting that the gesture would help them operate freely and legally without hindrances.
It is a mandatory opportunity that before you can ride on Okada, you need to hold the license. So I'll use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to the organizers of this program, especially our Honorable MP, for giving us this opportunity to have the opportunity or to have the license to be able to operate Okada.
We have a lot of challenges riding on the road without license, and then having the license, the issues we normally have with the police will reduce. Sometimes we teachers at Tongo Senior High School, sometimes we even feel like going to eat at Bosoba because of the disturbances. Sometimes you can't even go, you are going to eat and then the police will arrest you and you'll be there for like 30 minutes before you go.
Now, more politics this afternoon. The Member of Parliament for Ho Central, Edem Kofi Potosu, has assured constituents of his unwavering commitment to bringing more developmental projects to the constituency. He notes that addressing the concerns of the people remains his top priority. Hence, he will continue to work closely with the stakeholders to resolve their issues. The Ho Central lawmaker made these remarks during an accounting to the people engagement held in Ho.
The Accountability Forum, which is the first of its kind in the constituency, formed part of its one-year stewardship accountability exercise. It brought together media practitioners in Ho, constituency executives, and key stakeholders. He admitted that his first year in office was largely a learning and consultation phase, and assured constituents of his continued efforts to address the developmental needs of the constituency.
My experience as a first-timer is that you don't get into a forest and begin to throw cutlass. You have to learn the rules, the language, the procedures. before also doing something. So at least I've used my first year as a learning process and doing the consultations. So as we gravitate into the second year, we'll see what God will use us for in Parliament.
The municipal chief executive for the whole municipality, Stephen Adom, commended the MP for his dedication and achievements. He further assured him of his maximum support and collaboration to jointly address the developmental needs of the whole municipality.
This is the first time we've seen an MP accounting to his people, but he has given an account covering all the areas that I am even supposed to cover. And I know most of the things that he spoke about are the truth. For that matter, he is doing his best for the constituents. And I can only assure him and the constituents that we will do everything within our powers to make sure that we satisfy them the more.
The MP highlighted several interventions across various sectors, including education, agriculture, health, infrastructure development, expansion of potable water and sanitation, youth entrepreneurship, among others.
Away from that, energy expert Benjamin Nsia has described Ghana's recent clearance of $1.4 billion debt in the energy sector as a turning point for the industry. Speaking on Good Afternoon Ghana, the energy analyst noted that the move by the government sends a strong signal to investors, assuring them that the country is now a reliable market where obligations are honored and payments are guaranteed.
The government says it has cleared a total of $1.47 billion in energy sector debts within its first year in office, a move, it says, has restored the World Bank's partial risk guarantee and stabilized the country's power sector. Energy expert Benjamin Nsia is of the strong view that the move has added a renewed credibility to the sector, which places the country in a strong position to attract fresh investment into power generation, gas infrastructure and renewable energy projects.
It is not only to the private independent or private power producers, or what we call the independent power producers, generators. Right. Not only to them, I think the whole system is going to attract the needed investment to modernize and also expand accessibility to electricity, and also ensure that within the medium and long term, power generation is sustainable, power transmission is very sustainable, and also distribution is also sustainable, because now any investor that wants to come into the sector has no risks to fear, or has no any fear or anxiety of certain debt or certain liabilities that government may not be able to defray, and the sector is now risk-free. So I think that not only to the generators or the private generators, but any investor who wants to come into the Ghanaian energy system from generation to distribution, we will now have a full assurance.
The clearance of the $1.4 billion energy sector debt signals a decisive reset for Ghana's power industry, reinforcing trust, improving financial discipline, and strengthening the country's appeal to investors. The government
Now, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, has defended the suspension of Ghana's Gold for Oil program, pointing the operational challenges and the need to improve policy for efficiency. The program, introduced by the previous governments, was intended to reduce reliance on foreign exchange for fuel imports and help stabilize domestic fuel prices. Speaking before the Parliament's Public Accounts Committee on Monday, Dr. Isiama said the suspension has already already produced positive outcomes. He also disclosed that Ghana incurred significant financial losses under the domestic gold purchase program and is associated with gold for reserves framework and in 2024.
On the net losses for the gold for oil and also net losses for the gold for reserves. In 2022, the net losses for the gold for oil was about 74.44 million Ghana cedis. We did not have a net loss for the gold for reserves in 2022. Then in 2023, the net loss for the gold for oil was 317.69 million in 2023. On the other hand, the net loss for the gold for reserves, the losses in 2023 was 1,054.84 Ghana cedis. A little over 1 billion was the net loss for the gold for reserves in 2023. Then in 2024, the net loss for the gold for oil was 1.8 billion Ghana cedis in 2024. On the other hand, the net loss for the gold for reserves in 2024 was 3.8 billion Ghana cedis. Now, for 2025, and as we have indicated, this data is under audit, and we will want to wait until the audit is over. We will publish our financials by March this year. It's not a question about losses then and now. It is that these schemes were introduced to address a specific national problem. What to do going forward is how to reform it, how to make it more efficient.
Now, the governor also extended invitation to Parliament to work together with the Bank of Ghana to ensure that the losses being recorded become a thing of the past.
Going forward, our appeal is to move in a unified manner. We want everyone to get on board, to reform this better, and to sharpen its efficiency so that it supports, economic stabilization, it supports our reserves build-up going forward. At the Bank of Ghana, we have started. This week, our board is having a joint meeting with the board of the Gold Board for a start. Beyond that, we are going to be meeting with other stakeholders, and we'll be happy for experts in Parliament to join us. We believe that it can be made a win-win. A friend of mine made a comment that I want to share with the committee on this. He said, if this issue doesn't unite us as a country, then he doesn't know what other issue will unite us. The losses are not new. They were there before 2025. And so rather than apportion blame, let's get to the table. Let's see what to do further. We did a bit last year to reduce some of the charges. What more can we do and sustain it? Other than that, going back to leave the space for the smugglers, going back to leave the space for others. And if you look at how much we've lost as a country by way of leakages over all the years, it is mind-blowing. So our appeal is that we work together, Madam Chair, going forward to reform the space. It will help us as a country.
This will wrap up on the news update on Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Helen Anyeweja. Over to you this month, a quick answer.
Right, Helen, thank you very much for bringing us the news updates today. Still watching Good Afternoon Ghana here on Metro Television. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we'll be talking about the water challenges in some areas. My colleague Vanessa Edotom Boateng has been moving around the city in many communities, trying to find out what exactly is the situation when it comes to water in these areas. We'll be talking to her. And then we get to the NPP. They have released a statement that there are processes underway to remove Professor Frimpong Boateng from the party. This was after he granted an interview where he said a number of things, including the fact that this MPP is not one that he recognizes and it has become a fake party. And then we talk about the issues from the Bank of Ghana, where, as you just saw, Dr. Johnson Isiama appeared before the Public Accounts Committee to talk about, what's happening at the Bank of Ghana and all the losses, all the things that he's been talking about. We'll be speaking to an economist to explain all of that to us. So stay with us. We're taking a break. We'll be back shortly. My name is Desmond Okrekudanso.
Branch manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Healthy soil is where every great harvest begins. At ACAP, we turn waste into wealth, producing rich organic compost made right here in Ghana for our farmers and our future. Whether you are planting small or big, ACAP compost improves your soil, boosts your yields, and saves you money. Even in your own home garden, give your soil life naturally. ACAP compost, from waste to wealth.
Welcome back to the program. This is Good Afternoon Ghana, and of course, in these times, we are going to talk about a few issues. As I mentioned before the break, the Bank of Ghana, we're going to begin with that. And the governor, Dr. Johnson Pandit Isiama, appeared before the Public Accounts Committee for some conversations about operations at the Bank of Ghana. Let's take a listen to how that session went.
On the net losses for the Gulf for oil and also net losses for the Gulf for reserves. In 2022, the net losses for the Gulf for oil was about 74.44 million Ghana cedis. We did not have a net loss for the Gulf for reserves in 2022. Then in 2023, the net loss for the Gulf for oil was 317.69 million in 2023. On the other hand, the net loss for the Gulf for reserves, the losses in 2023 was 1,054.84 Ghana cedis. A little over 1 billion was the net loss for the Gulf for reserves in 2023. Then in 2024, the net loss for the Gulf for oil was 1.8 billion Ghana cedis in 2024. On the other hand, the net loss for the Gulf for reserves in 2024 was 3.8 billion Ghana cedis. Now, for 2025, and as we have indicated, this data is under audit, and we will want to wait until the audit is over. We will publish our financials by March this year. It's not a question about losses then and now. It is that these schemes were introduced to address a specific national problem. What to do going forward is how to reform it, how to make it more efficient. Going forward, our appeal is to move in a unified manner. We want everyone to get on board, to reform this better, and to sharpen its efficiency so that it supports, economic stabilization, it supports our reserves build-up going forward. At the Bank of Ghana, we have started. This week, our board is having a joint meeting with the board of the Gold Board for a start. Beyond that, we are going to be meeting with other stakeholders, and we'll be happy for experts in Parliament to join us. We believe that it can be made a win-win. A friend of mine made a comment that I want to share with the committee on this. He said, if this issue doesn't unite us as a country, then he doesn't know what other issue will unite us. The losses are not new. They were there before 2025. And so rather than apportion blame, let's get to the table. Let's see what to do further. We did a bit last year to reduce some of the charges. What more can we do and sustain it? Other than that, going back to leave the space for the smugglers, going back to leave the space for others. And if you look at how much we've lost as a country by way of leakages over all the years, it is mind-blowing. So our appeal is that we work together, Madam Chair, going forward to reform the space. It will help us as a country.
Right, so they had the governor of the Bank of Ghana speaking there as he appeared before the Public Accounts Committee. I want to get some more explanation on the situation at the Bank of Ghana, talking about the Good for Oil program and many others as he appeared before the committee. And to help us with that, Dr. Hayford Ayurakwa is a development economist and he's joined us via Zoom. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for your time here on the program.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers.
Great. As I was preparing for this conversation, what occurred to me was, so what is this explanation about to the ordinary Ghanaian who may be seeing this on TV, as we are discussing now? Can you break it down for us as to what exactly these losses are, these programs that the governor was talking about?
Well, so I think it's good to put the conversation in perspective, in context. The Gold for Oil program, which was at the Bank of Ghana, was a novel initiative that the government of Ghana introduced in 2023.
Right.
And this was born out of a situation where the Ghanaian economy, we could no longer go to the capital market to access support. And so everything reserves was depleting sharply. And so on a month-on-month basis, we required about 400 million USD to be able to import oil and related products into the country. And so that put a lot of pressure on the local currency. You were almost always chasing to look out for USD to be able to go and import oil and related products into the country. And so the idea then was that instead of going to look for Forex, to be able to go and buy this oil to come and meet the day-to-day needs of households, businesses, and the government, why don't we rather look for producers of oil and trade our gold for the oil, instead of going to now sell for the dollars and use the same dollars to go and buy? So it was more of a barter trade arrangement. And that served a great deal of purpose at the time. And so, yes, it saved a lot of headache. It saved the country from a lot of potential challenges. There was likely going to be shortages of fuel and fuel-related products at the time if that intervention was not necessary, was not available. And so over the years, if by the grace of God we've been able to stabilize and we no longer need that as an intervention, I think it is only fair to review it. And so I agree with the central bank governor to say that they are reviewing it. I just think that it is a political commentary that preceded some of these official communication that sometimes mar the beauty of things. When you hear politicians politicize programs like this to say that, you know, we cancel it because it was not useful, that is not correct. It was extremely useful to the Ghanaian economy. It is what has sustained the Ghanaian economy until we've gained stability. And so it is fair to review the policy, and I like how the governor puts it, to look at the inefficiencies going forward, to improve on it. Any policy that you introduce potentially come with its own challenges. It is during the review that you can actually identify some of the nuances and be able to put in strategies and measures to address them. And so for the losses, I have not studied their books to see what is accounting for the losses. And like they said, they are reviewing to see exactly what the problem is and to see what can be done or to completely keep it off the books. So that is something that I am very happy, and I'm eager to see what the report of this committee would come up with.
Right. With that being said, and now the Bank of Ghana governor, yesterday as he was speaking, was saying that these are losses that were incurred, a couple of years ago, as you've mentioned, when this program was brought in, and they are merely, policy losses and all of these things. But is there a way that we could go about this without incurring so much of that loss?
Certainly there's a way. We cannot continue to incur losses if we claim the program is being efficient. And that is why I agree with him in saying that there is a need to review, and there's also the need to depoliticize the conversation. This is a national conversation that we must all be interested in and contributing our quota to addressing that. Now, if losses were incurred, is it the case that the products that the oil that we brought in could not meet the, was in terms of the butter, did we supply more gold than we received by way of returns for oil? Or would we be better off selling the gold and using the forex to rather buy the oil as it was before the gold for oil intervention? So these are the nuances that I'm talking about, that we can actually improve. Even if we incur losses, it should be at a minimal rate. So at the end of the day, we can be sure that it is addressing a need. I believe strongly, and I am persuaded that the gold for oil indeed addressed an important gap at the time. The gold for reserve, as the governor himself acknowledged, addressed an important need, which was our reserves, which are depleted. And now, as a result of that intervention, we now have some good reserves as a country. All of these are policy initiatives. And so if losses come along the way, we just have to look at it and see, are these losses avoidable? If the losses are avoidable, then certainly we need to look at it and fix those avoidable losses. If they are operational policy-related losses that are not avoidable, then we look at it and evaluate or review the program to see whether or not it is worth the investment, is worth the time. Because, for example, if for me it doesn't make sense if indeed we are going to buy gold at the prevailing market rate and come and sell the same gold to the Bank of Ghana at Bank of Ghana exchange rate. So it tells me straight away that if the difference between the market rate for FX rate and what the Bank of Ghana is quoting is that significant and leading to this significant losses as we are recording in the books of Gold Board or the Bank of Ghana, whichever way you put it, then it gives me reason to question the rate that Bank of Ghana himself or themselves putting out there for the public as the FX rate. So these are some of the things that I strongly believe that as a country we all have to have a conversation. And I'm glad that the board of the Gold Board and the Bank of Ghana board are going to have a conversation around the table. We need to have something that cuts across. Even if there will be any differences, it should be really marginal so that we can really minimize some of these losses.
Right. So the governor mentioned that the Gold for Oil program is suspended, and he gave reasons being operational challenges and financial setbacks for this particular suspension. And he was justifying that as he appeared before the Public Accounts Committee. You think it's good enough?
So if you say operational challenges, because we have not seen the audited report, it's still quite broad. If you say operational challenges, exactly what is the governor's talking about?
Right.
It would be good to break this thing down, because you can't hide behind operational challenges and cover up inefficiencies. If there are inefficiencies, let's figure it out, let's point it out, and let's all think through and address the inefficiencies. Otherwise, I can assure you, 2026 has begun, and the operations of Gold Board is ongoing. The other issues that led to these losses have not been resolved. If we don't know what it is, then it gives room for potential either intentional or unintentional inefficiencies that can lead to these losses. And for me, I think it's not healthy. We need to operate a transparent system, transparent monetary policy system, transparent policies that helps all of us to be able to independently evaluate and come to the same conclusion or about the same conclusion as the central bank governor is trying to allude to.
Right, and he's definitely calling for collaboration amongst all the stakeholders in the space to find a way around it. So that's a good call.
It is certainly a good call, and I back him completely for such a call. But if you're asking for collaboration, you should also be interested in taking dissenting views. We don't collaborate just to come and affirm your policies and positions.
Right.
We collaborate to give different perspectives to the same issues. And so I want to believe that the governor is minded by this call. And so if we all come together and we don't necessarily share the views that he puts up and professes alternative ways of addressing the same problem, we should all look at it and look at the merits and demerits of each proposal, and then we look at what works best for us.
Right, and in all of these, the focus, as is mentioned again, is to look at fiscal discipline, make sure that the city is stabilized, and that is the angle, that is the new lookout for how we can sustain our economy. And in doing so, in the first year, would you say that the government has done spectacular with that, and how can we maintain that as we try to make sure that our economy is stabilized over a number of years?
I think the governor has done a great job when it comes to stabilizing the Ghanaian city, and we need to commend him for that. However, whilst we continue, and what is happening at the moment is the central bank's ability to pump FX into the Ghanaian economy to stabilize the city. And that is largely what has accounted for what we have seen. The central governor himself has come up to say that they, as at I think September, October, had pumped in excess of $10 billion
right
into the Ghanaian economy to stabilize the city. That is huge. We were talking about, on average, $1 billion a month. A few years back, from 2023, when we started the IMF program, the central bank then did not have the freedom as a result of the program. Our reserves have depleted as a country. We didn't have adequate reserves. And so what the central bank was permitted to do was about $80 million a month into the Ghanaian economy. But by November 2024, we had, as a country, built adequate reserves, almost $9 billion. And so that lid was lifted to allow the central governor to invest or inject dollars to shore up the strength of the city. And so it is great that that policy had continued. So if you look at it from November 2024 to about December 2024, the city moved from about 16.8 to about 14.7, which meant that that appreciation had begun as a result of that opportunity to inject more dollars into the Ghanaian economy, which the current governor has continued and gained a lot more opportunity to inject a lot more cities. I have a bit of a challenge, however, that the same level of strength that we are putting to make the city stabilize, we need to make equal investment in other areas within the economy that allow the city to have a sustainable stabilization. As it is, in my candid opinion, the city has stabilized, but it is not sustainable. As long as the central bank have dollars to inject into the economy, there is no problem. But if something should happen and we lose the forex and we don't have the ability to inject the same amount of dollars into the Ghanaian economy, the city would depreciate at such a fast pace that we would all be shocked. I have a concern because when your city appreciates so much, it basically leads to reduction in imported goods and services. And so you will agree with me that people are testifying of reduction in prices of goods and services, including reduction at the pumps, which is great. We are beneficiaries of this. However, look at the prices that are coming down. They are all goods and services that were imported into this country. What effectively we are doing is that we are creating all the jobs in the originating countries of these goods and services. We are providing all the support services to these countries. Now, if you are a businessman operating in Ghana, and I have seen this morning, I was in one of your sister stations talking about a comment that the Cocoa Board Chairman Owusu-Ampofo has made, that as a result of the appreciation in the city, cocoa farmers cannot be paid a certain amount of money that is due them. Local production makes it very expensive. Our export become expensive. So you cannot get adequate returns to be able to continue to invest in your local production. If you do, you have the cameras. If you take any local person who is into local production of rice, of maize, of wheat, of all the major commodities, including cocoa, you would see that production is going down because prices of these goods have become more expensive, and you and I have already developed taste for imported commodities. And so once we go to the market, we are tempted to buy the cheaper ones, which we already have good taste for. And so that is a challenge. And that is the balance I'm calling for, that let us also, from the fiscal side, invest a lot of resources in supporting local industries to make them competitive, so that even as we are working on our city to be stabilized, we can now guarantee that a time is coming as a result of the policies we put in place to support domestic production, we would have enough that we don't have to import or demand dollars to import so much. We'll have in excess to export and get more forex. In that way, you are guaranteed stability in your economy.
Right.
But as it is now, it is only, in my opinion, a temporary stability.
Right, and you've raised a very important point there, and that's one of the controversies that has been going on, that with this macroeconomic indicators going on in terms of inflation, in terms of the city's appreciation and all that, is that really reflecting, and you're saying that it has rather made some of the things expensive?
That is correct. It's made some commodities expensive, whilst others have been made cheaper. Imported products have been made cheaper. Domestic products have become expensive. And the only time you find locally produced goods being cheaper, what it will mean is that that produce is likely to be in season.
Okay.
So, for example, you'll find, for example, a few months ago, tomatoes was in abundance. And so you get it at a very cheap rate. It's because we are having a bumper harvest of tomatoes, not because we have done anything extraordinary. As long as the rains come, we get the produce we need to support, domestic. So it is intentional policies. I have not yet seen that. And that for me is quite scary.
Interesting. As we get back to the conversation on the Gold for Oil program, which has been suspended, the governor talked about the Gold for Oil, Gold for Oil, the Gold for Reserves, right? And then I want to quote exactly what he said, and that's what I'm looking at here, so that I could, yes. So he says that for the Gold for Reserves initiatives, as the name suggests, it is for us to increase reserves. Based on the data available so far, the evidence is clear that it is not a case of shutting it down, but a question of enhancing its efficiency, looking at inefficiencies that we have to take out, and that is why we went after Gold Board. So that's what he said about the Gold for Reserves initiatives. You agree with that? Hello, Doc.
Yes, sir. I lost you for a second. Right. I didn't really get the question.
Right. So let me take that again. So I was saying that as the governor talked about the Gold for Oil program and was justifying why it has been suspended, he turned to the Gold for Reserves initiative, right? And I want to quote exactly what he said so that I could take your opinion on that. So he says that the objective for Gold for Reserves, as the name suggests, is for us to increase reserves. But based on the data available so far, the evidence is clear that it is not a case of shutting it down, but a question of enhancing its efficiency, looking at inefficiencies that we have to take out. That is why we went after Gold Board. So with this explanation that he gave yesterday for the Gold for Reserves, I think it's a good one why we've gone in for Gold Board.
I think that, in my opinion, that is an admission from the governor that the Gold for Reserve has been a game changer in terms of helping the Ghanaian economy build adequate reserves.
Right.
And it is true because when we started as a country with a Gold for Oil, Gold for Reserves program, the independence to date, we had a little over 8 tons of gold in reserves. And by December 2024, our reserve as a country had moved from about 8.7 tons to about 30.54 tons. And that is significant. Significant. And this has been very instrumental in helping to sustain the city. I think that I share in the view of the governor when he says that we need to look at the inefficiencies and to improve on it. So the Gold for Reserves is a great initiative. And like I said before, every initiative has its policy, has its own ups and downs. And it's always great if you can review this and improve upon it. And ultimately, my brother, it is about Ghana. It is about what we can actually do to make the Ghanaian economy a better one, right, to allow for all the kind of investments that we require and the development we all expect. So yes, going for Gold Board has even added to the Gold for Reserves program, which I think recently I was misquoted that I said we should shut down Gold Board. That is not the case. Gold Board, for me, has been has brought on added advantage to the Gold for Reserves program. And so we need to strengthen that relationship, strengthen that process, and make sure that we get the best out of that establishment.
Right.
That will be my view on that.
Right, just a final one. So there have been lots of talks about the achievement of President Mahama in his first year regarding the economy. The indicators are showing, really good figures. The NPP's Dennis Miracle Sabwaje also had the People's Forum where he says that all these macroeconomic indicators do not say anything or mean anything if it is not reflecting in the lives of the ordinary Ghanaian. I don't want you to wade into, the whether it's NDC and NPP, but really for the ordinary Ghanaian, is this good for us? The first year, the economic indicators, are we on a good path?
Like I said, if you're looking at it from the average person, yes, it is true. We need to commend the president and the managers of the economy. Some things have been done right. For the average person, once they go to the market, and whether it is imported or exported, they can get it at a rate that is cheaper, they are happy. And they will say that things have improved. Where I said, I have seen a lot of similar indicators in the past. And I can count about Yao Safumafu as finance minister. I can talk about Kwajo Benredu. I can talk about Kwabena Dufo when Professor Mills, the late Professor Mills, took over. I can talk about Ken Ofori-Atta's first term. And we can also talk about what is happening now. The first year of every administration has been amazing. And so what the challenge has been, we've been here before. We've seen this before, and even better indicators in the past. Why are we always going back in circles? It is the point that, for me, interest is of interest to me. It's saying that the fundamentals are still weak. We need to be interested in building a sustainable economy and not just temporary and shortcuts. Otherwise, should something happen, the situation will be dire than we have even imagined. So 1 year in office, I think that we need to commend the president. He's done well. I would give it to him and just hope that we invest a bit of time in building the fundamentals in a way that can sustain the economy and not just this temporary fix.
Right. Dr. Hayford Mensah Yorako, thank you very much for your time here on the program. He's a development economist, sharing with us his thoughts on the appearance of the governor of the Bank of Ghana before the Public Accounts Committee, talking about the Gold for Oil program, says that it has been suspended. They're looking at some of the inefficiencies, the operational challenges, and all of that, and also talking about the Gold for Oil reserves. There. So watching the show here on Metro TV. We're live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana. You can definitely join us on there and also on DSTV channel 277 94.1 FM on your radio. We're moving away from that, and then we get into the quarters of the New Patriotic Party, because the party has announced that it has begun processes to expel Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng following comments he made in an interview on Channel 1. Now, the party has disclosed that it is taking steps to expel the professor after he described the party as fake in an interview on Channel 1 TV and declared that he no longer identifies as a member. Professor Frimpong Boateng, the former Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, criticized the current state of the NPP during an interview on January 12. He claimed the party no longer reflects the original values, calling it fake, and warned that re-electing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as flag bearer would be a train wreck. Now, the party responded in a statement issued earlier today, signed by the General Secretary, Justin Frimpong Kodua, rejecting his claims that the party denied allegations that its 2023 presidential primary was rigged, insisting it was free, fair, and credible, and described Professor Frimpong Boateng's remarks as damaging to the party's unity and integrity, and announced that it has begun constitutional processes to expel him. Let's take a look at some excerpts from the interview.
For Ghana, and I've been doing that all the time. Do you still consider yourself a member of the MPP?
Where the present MPP is not MPP, it's fake.
What?
Yeah. What I see now, it is not the MPP I used to know.
But the question still stands. Do you still consider yourself a member of the MPP?
Not the fake one.
So which one is the real one?
The real one is there. It's a virtual thing, and the members are there in the background.
You think that... I don't understand.
But look at how they elected their last flag bearer. You know, twist the arms of weak and...
This is for the 2024 election?
Yes. Twist people's arms, bribing delegates, and intimidating others to get a flag bearer. You know, this is the beginning of corruption, and this should not be allowed in any serious situation or in any serious party. And there were issues. We lost the elections badly, and we did not deal with the issues that led to the losses. And then we still want to go in there, and I think it would be a train wreck if they elect the old flag bearer. So
And those are excerpts from that interview with Bernard Avle and Professor Frimpong Boateng saying that the party is one that he does not recognize now. But again, on Good Morning Ghana earlier today, member of the NDC's communications team, Hamza Suyini, called on the party, and that is the New Patriotic Party, to consider changing its party leadership as the NPP has lost focus and is in crisis because the legacy of former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is one that is affecting the party, he says. And also the Member of Parliament for Efia constituency and a member of the NPP, Isaac Boama Nyanko, admitted that the NPP needs to sanitize and restore discipline as he is not in the favor of the expulsion. But very soon we'll be speaking to Richard Anyagba. But let's take a look at those comments on Good Morning Ghana today.
The current New Patriotic Party has entirely lost focus. And I was clear in even admonishing and calling on them to not just change their National Executive Committee, but also consider changing the leadership of Parliament. Because what we have in place today at the party level and in Parliament is simply a continuation of the failed legacies of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Any responsible leadership would have considered the possibility of going to engage him as an elder of the party to truly appreciate his concerns and possibly consider ways of making it practicable for him to have a space to operate as far as the New Patriotic Party is concerned, but not to go on this confrontational tangent. It doesn't show leadership. And if the NPP people are listening, they must begin to take this call seriously, Honorable. Your party is not just in crisis. Your party is in a state that it will be difficult for you to get out of the woods if you do not change your party leadership and also your front bench in Parliament. There is absolutely no form of leadership in the NPP as we speak today. I feel terribly sorry for what the Nana Addo-led administration did to the New Patriotic Party. And Professor Frimpong Boateng was right when he said that this is fake NPP. Because in truth, this is not the NPP of 1992. This is not the NPP of 96. This is not the NPP of 2000. And this is definitely not the NPP of 2004 and 2008.
When you have an opportunity, why? When people are even talking about some of the ills of the NPP, don't they mention Frimpong Boateng as an example? The Galamsey issues and the issues about the government, ministerial, whatever report that came out of his office. So even the bad image and reputation of the party partly associates with him. But what did we do? We carried the baggage together. I wasn't there when all of these things had happened in past, but I'm a member of the party. I carry the cross of the party. The good, the bad, the ugly. My point is that leadership of our party need to sanitize and bring discipline. Need to make sure that when people diverse into such realms, we bring them back. I am not for expulsion.
Right. So now we're going to speak to the communications director for the party. That is Richard Ahiagba. He joins us via Zoom. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for your time here on the program.
Thank you.
Great. First off, where did you see the interview, and what was your initial reaction to what you had seen?
Thank you very much. I was flabbergasted when I listened to it, and later on I played it, and I kind of imagined the level of membership responsibility burden on all of us as members of the party who have joined freely. And nobody was under any collusion to join the New Patriotic Party. You could have joined any party, but we chose to join the New Patriotic Party. And it's a party of rules. Our constitution puts a burden on us to behave in a certain way, conduct our affairs in a certain way, such that we don't bring through our actions and inactions the name of the party into disrepute or public ridicule. And this is provided for in our constitution and Article 3, the duties of members. And so Professor Frimpong Boateng is fully aware. I have no inclination to think that he doesn't know that as a member of the party, he shouldn't speak in those terms, and that his conduct should not be one that brings the party's name into disrepute. But yet he did it. And so I think that for whatever it is worth, would give him, I think the disciplinary committee would give him occasion to explain the basis for why he made those assertions. And that is the import of the letter issued by the General Secretary, which is stating that a process will commence, which will commence with a petition to a National Disciplinary Committee, given his profile and the involvement of the General Secretary by the issuance of this letter.
Right.
Petition will be submitted to a National Disciplinary Committee for them to interrogate the matter further with Prof. Boateng to see whether indeed what we see on the face of it as a breach of the Constitution by a member of the party, the committee would agree and recommend the appropriate sanctions.
Right. So, Mr. Ahiagba, you're now, if I heard you right, you're now going to call him to meet the party?
Yes, so our constitution provides for that. Nobody can issue a letter, be it General Secretary or Chairman or whoever of the party cannot issue a letter to remove or expel anybody from the party. That is only subject to a disciplinary procedure and a recommendation of that committee, be it constituency, region, or national committee, having sat on the matter and make a recommendation. It's only at that point that the recommendation will be implemented. So what the letter intended to communicate is to signal that that process will commence. And in due course, once the petition goes to the National Disciplinary Committee, Prof. Boateng will be invited, and he will be given a full hearing, and he can explain what he meant by those, and rather explain himself or confirm that what he said is exactly what he intended to say, and then the committee then will make its recommendation to the National Executive Committee for action.
Right.
But let me just add here quickly that.
Okay. Now, I was just going to say
yeah,
that
so
I needed some clarity.
That's not the end of it.
On that.
If after a National Disciplinary Committee.
Okay, Mr. Anyagba, I am sorry. I think there's a bit of delay in the conversation, but I'm just saying that I asked that for clarity because of the final paragraph of the statement that says that what he's done is highly reprehensible and inimical to the values of the party, and that the processes has begun. So I was thinking that is he not supposed to meet the party?
There seems to be some challenge in your line.
Yes. So I am saying that is he not supposed to have met the party first before the issuance of this statement, or saying that you have begun the processes to, have that expulsion as we're talking about now?
Yeah. So what this means essentially is that the notice as issued by the General Secretary is essentially to signal for the comfort of all members of the party that the party has taken note of what was said and that will take action. The action that will be taken is the disciplinary procedure spelled out in Article 4 of our Constitution. And so that process will unfold. And Professor Frimpong Boateng then will have a day before that committee. The committee has 21 days to terminate its hearing and then recommend a course of action recommend a course of action, which may be, among other things, to expel the professor from the membership of the party, or recommend any other course of action based on the interaction, the confirmation or the disconfirmation of the statements that we all have seen and you've played on TV by Professor Frimpong Boateng. So when that happens, that's the only point that a direct statement indicating his expulsion from the party can be occasioned. And I was going to add earlier that in the event that a National Disciplinary Committee makes a recommendation to the effect that perhaps he be expelled from the party, and he does not agree with that recommendation, Professor Frimpong Boateng has a recourse to petition National Council, who that National Council has a final authority in determining the matter for redress. So he has avenues to address the matter. But for me, what I see listening to the statement is that he doesn't even recognize that he's a member of the party, because in some of his statement, he's saying that when they elected their flag bearer in 2023, referring to us as they, which excludes himself, which is most unfortunate, because for nothing at all, Professor Frimpong Boateng has had occasion to serve on the platform of the New Patriotic Party as minister and in many other capacities during the Akufo-Addo administration. The least he could have done is to be grateful to a party that has accorded him such a prestigious opportunity to serve the good people of our country. So I am saddened by the turn of events with Professor Frimpong Boateng, with his distinguished service to country. I expected that he would know better and not to have conducted himself in that manner. But that said, it is not conclusive. The committee will sit on the matter and then we'll understand fully what the next course of action would be in relation to this interview.
Right. I appreciate that you've tried explaining what the lector actually meant to convey in terms of the message, but with how it came out, it looked like everything has been done, and then he's just going to be, expelled from the party. As we have seen with some others, like Adwoa Safo and others, they were referred to the disciplinary committee first. That was the statement that came out. But with this, it says that NPP initiates processes to expel Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng from the party. So it meant, or it conveyed the message as though he's gone. He is being taken out without any hearing.
No, thank you for the opportunity to clarify. There is nobody in our party who can issue a letter to remove anybody from the party unless it's done in adherence to Article 4 of our Constitution, which will accord the person a full hearing and a determination. Following that, then such a decision can be made. But until that, nobody. And I don't think that that's what the General Secretary said. In fact, initiate a process is implied in that. Article 4 proceedings are implied in that statement saying will initiate process to expel him from the party.
Right. For you as a director of communications for the party, when was the last time you met Professor Frimpong Boateng, and when was the last time he engaged in any activities with the party?
Also a very interesting question. I don't remember. I don't remember. It's a long time ago, really. But he's someone that you and I are aware served this party,
right?
Served the government under His Excellency His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in the first term. In the second term, however, he wasn't there. But we know what he has contributed. The disagreement surrounding his letter that was famously written, or reports that was written. So he's someone who is known, and I am happy for the opportunity given him to serve our country. And then, as a member of the party, the only disappointment I have is his comment, because these comments have potential for long-term effect on the party, where we are trying hard, especially now that we are confronted with an election on the 31st. The least you expect is a leading member such as Professor Frimpong Boateng to come and throw this wrench in the mix of things, suggesting that the previous presidential primary was not as transparent as ought to be. I think that is a discredited position. People's account of that 2023 presidential primary is clear for everybody to see that it was transparent. There wasn't any arm twisting as he sought to imply. And then especially going into this, saying something like that really created difficulty for people going into this election. I think that's most regrettable. But it is one that history would record kindly, that he served his country well, except that this will be a blot. The way he's serving his party will be a blot on that distinguished record. Right.
So it means that he did not partake in the NDC Delegates Conference, and also the amendment. So he didn't. I mean, sorry, I beg your pardon, NPP. He did not.
That's okay. I understand what.
No, of course.
I understand what you meant. Yes.
Yes. So he didn't contribute to any of the amendments. Everything. He's not been doing that for a while.
Not that I know.
Right.
Not that I know.
Okay.
Not that I know. And his responses there gives you a clue how he sees the party. There's obviously in that response evidence of pain, evidence of hurt. Where that hurt comes from, where that pain comes from, I don't know. But I can tell you that I'm not happy about every single thing the party has done, every single decision that has been made. But it is not basis for me to besmirch the good name of the party, the manner he's doing. We are voluntarily members of the party. We can disagree, but not in a manner that brings the party's name into disrepute. Those matters can be addressed at the appropriate quarters, but not in the public space as he has done.
And I was coming to that because we've seen a number of personalities from the party who, when are not happy about certain things happening, go into the public space and say a number of things. So I was just going to ask that for the party, what's the appropriate ways for people to pour out their grievances or any hurt, as you're mentioning in this case for Professor Frimpong Boateng?
Oh, yeah, I mean, so assuming that there is something that has happened that I'm not happy about, there are internal mechanisms to address that. If I'm a serving officer of the party, I can bring it to a constituency executive meeting, regional executive meeting, I can write to the secretary if it's in the case of a constituency or region. I can write to the general secretary to make known my grievances. So there are procedures where you can address that, and have many forums within the party that one can address those concerns. And so to the extent that you would sidestep all those administrative processes and then come public to discuss that, the Constitution anticipated that. And that's why it says that you cannot undertake to bring the party's name into disrepute by your actions and inactions. But if you have any concern, you address them internally. And those internal mechanisms are sufficient to deal with them. And if you still are not happy, you have a recourse to continue to be a member of the party or not to be a member of the party. At that point, you can write to be, to not be a member again, to resign from the party. That is also provided for. But to be a member and go and contravene the Constitution, that is liable for disciplinary action. And that's what we are seeing here. So I will urge everyone to use internal mechanisms to address grievances, because after all, we are a collection of people. We are not infallible. We are subject to stepping on each other's toes. And I've told you my own instance where I am not 100% happy about many things, but it doesn't give me the leeway to go out there and misconduct myself.
Mr. Ayagba, what are you not happy about your own party?
The provisions or the guidance of the Constitution. So everybody should be advised. No. Well, I'll be the next person whose letter you read tomorrow if I answer your question.
Does this put the NPP in bad light that there seems not to be a united front in the party?
Not at all. Not at all. What I'm implying there is that we are a human institution, just like in this country. This morning, in your studios, there are two individuals who are Ghanaians. One, my brother, Honorable Isaac Boamanyako, and my good friend, Hamza Swahili. They were there. They're all Ghanaians. They talk to you, and you can hear that they are all not happy about one thing or the other. But they will not, on the basis of their unhappiness, denounce Ghana or say things that will be damaging to the international reputation of the country. They will make their disagreements known in ways that are constructive and ensure for remedial actions to be taken. So when I say that as a member, I'm not happy about certain things, I'm just essentially implying that as a human institution, there are things that you will not be happy about. And definitely our Constitution provided for those things and say that there are internal mechanisms to address those. So I will leverage internal mechanisms to address those grievances. That's how we build institutions. That's how we build parties. You understand? And so through that, all the internal discomforts will be addressed. We are a party that is working to ensure that we'll capture power in 2028. We can do so only with unity. And conduct such as this, and conduct that makes people feel that their feelings are superior to the collective feeling of the party, are not helpful. And those are the ones that we are pointing to say that, notwithstanding that those hurts may exist, you have to find constructive means, leverage the internal processes to address them if ever you have some discomfort. It doesn't mean that the NPP is in crisis at all. It just means that the NPP is a human institution like the other political parties, the NDC. It's only a matter of time. You see the kind of time bomb the NDC is sitting on. But it doesn't mean that members of the NDC will go on the streets and begin to yell that to the hearing of everyone. They will deal with it in-house. That's what we're encouraging. We've always been a party of discipline, and we, as a human institution, we know that people will have reason to be unhappy, and therefore we have processes internally for them to address those. So my pleading is that people should look at this instance and learn and be more internally driven if they have any concerns to address them.
Just a final one. There are some people who believe that this is just the prof's first probably comment in the space about the party, but there are some other personalities in the party who keep lashing out at others in the party. You know them, and you've called them to meet the disciplinary committee and all of that. But this one, you just go ahead and say processes to expel. But all of those people, personalities are still there. What has happened with them? What would you say to that?
I'm not sure who are saying, the people who are saying.
Oh, you should check. When the statement came out, you should see the comments on social media.
Oh, unfortunately, I haven't looked at those statements. But be as it may, and if people have concerns, it is not do it and let's see situation, right? As a member of the party, if there are happenings in the party that you're not happy about, you can petition that behavior. So if I believe that you are a member of our party and your conduct on Metro TV is bringing the party's name to disrepute, and nobody is saying anything about it because people perceive that you are a friend of that person or a son of that person, I, as a member of the party, have a duty to petition, if it's in the case of a constituency or region, to petition the appropriate disciplinary body to deal with that matter. Right. So if a member of the party has a concern that somebody is not conducting themselves appropriately, by all means, they should petition and have the party structure work to deal with those concerns. But as far as I am concerned, I'm not aware of any attempt to shield anybody and punish others. The attempt is to ensure internal discipline, internal cohesion. And so if people have concern, they should address it, they should petition, and let's build a united NPP to capture power in 2028.
Right. I'm sure you also try and sort out some of the things you don't like about the party. Richard Ayagba, thank you very much always for speaking to us here on Metro TV.
You're very tempting. You're very tempting.
I wish you speak, but you say your letter will be next, so we'll keep it at that. We'll keep it like that. Thank you very much for your time, Richard.
Thank you.
He's Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party, speaking to us there about the statement released earlier, signed by the General Secretary of the party, Justin Frimpong Kodia, saying that there are processes that have begun to expel Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng from the party after the interview on Channel 1. But he says that it is implying that he will meet the disciplinary committee, and per the recommendations from the committee, then the processes, especially for the expulsion, would happen. And many thanks for joining us. We'll open the phone lines very soon so you can share your thoughts with us here on the show. But of course, the final conversation will be about water situation in some communities in the capital. It's quite a struggle for many residents, especially from Teshi, Labadi. I know people in Sakumono, residents in Spintex have been complaining about the water situation in the area through the Christmas festivities, New Year to now. It keeps happening like that. And my colleague Vanessa Adotum Boateng stepped out in town today to ascertain what the situation is in the community. So when you call, you can also share with us if you have same challenges in your area where you live in terms of the water situation there. And so Vanessa is here, but we're live on 94.1 FM on TV. It is Metro TV, DSTV channel 277, and also on Facebook, Metro TV Ghana. You can join us live on there. To all of our viewers, wherever you're watching, from many thanks for joining us. The number is on the screen. You could call us and talk to us about the issues that we have discussed today on the Bank of Ghana Governor, talking about the Gold for Oil program, justifying that there are some inefficiencies and some operational challenges. That's why it has been suspended. And we just spoke to Richard Ayagba, the Director of Communications for the NPP, on the issue with Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, and Vanessa is here. So we talk about what's the challenges in the areas in the capital. Right. So I remember sometime in December, my colleague Ekosechi Saki stepped out and saying on this water situation. Let's take a look at that, and we'll come back and speak to Vanessa. The long-standing water crisis in Teshie and Nungua keep worsening by the day as residents trek distances in search of potable water for both domestic consumption and commercial purposes, a situation affecting their productive hours. The acute water shortage in the area is due to the shutdown of the Teshie Nungua desalination plant by the Ghana Water Limited. Residents are now compelled to buy water from water tankers at exorbitant fees, with food vendors filling the brands more, a situation eroding the income they make as local food vendors.
The acute water shortage that is being experienced in Nungua and Teshie is not only affecting residents because they have to go through a lot of difficulty in getting potable water to drink and also water for domestic chores. The situation is negatively affecting food vendors as they struggle to secure water to cook their food. Some of these food vendors tell me that they have to spend as much as 90 Ghana cedis in securing water to cook their foods.
Our husbands are now home because they are currently not working. In our quest to work to support the home, the high cost of water is really draining us. We are pleading with government to do something about the issue. I spend 90 Ghana cedis in a day to cook. We have not had water for 2 weeks, so we have not been preparing kinky. We have to buy a gallon of water at either 5 or 7 Ghana cedis. This has affected the sizes of the kinky we sell. The situation has really affected us.
So it's a very difficult situation for many residents, but we have some of our viewers out there calling now. So let's get to the phone lines, then we speak to Vanessa. Hello, good afternoon. You're calling from Zenu. What's your name?
I'm Alasan Sise from Zenu Central.
Right. Please go ahead with your submission.
Thank you for the opportunity. And what I will say about this water issue is that we are only urging the government, the authorities, those who matter, to come to these people's aid and help them to solve the water crisis, because water is life. About the issues of the MPP struggling, they will struggle for a long, because this is a group of people who doesn't listen to the masses. Hello?
Yeah, please go ahead quickly.
All I'm saying is that the MPP, since they refuse to listen to wisdom from the Ghanaian people, they will have this crisis in their hands for a long time. It's high time they come together, build their party, and forget of 2028. The needed one, what they need to do is to come together, rebuild the party from the grassroots, than the top to the bottom.
Right.
Have a good day.
Right. Thank you very much. But wisdom will be a strong way you could advise them, the party, on what you think could be done. So you can give us a call also. The number is on your screen. Call us and share your thoughts with us on the issues we have discussed today, especially the water situation, very important one. The crisis is one that we want to look at, and Vanessa is here. We're going to speak as I want the... Okay, we have a caller on. Hello, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is Razak. I'm calling from Taifa.
From Taifa. Please go ahead.
Yes.
Oh, speak to us. Don't listen to the television. Talk to me on the phone.
No, I'm not listening to it. I'm going to have my contribution on the portion of Frimpong Boateng.
Right, go ahead.
The MP had their sending viewers, all those who have opinions about how they run their internal affairs, they have problem with it. It started from the time of Nyaho Tamakulu coming down, trickling down to this point. Everybody who have a contribution or a contradicting view of their position, they expose the person. Can you imagine the caliber of a man like Dr. Frimpong that you want to take out of your party? And you are even discussing it. MPP right now needs people, not by removing others from the party.
Okay.
This time they need more hands, especially in those capacities. People look at now their leadership. Your leadership has now run down to young boys who don't have any ideas on how to run party or manage people.
Okay.
The party is going down the drain. Look, the NDC are doing fantastic. The gold for oil didn't help matters. Galamsey was all over. No water wasn't progress. Nothing. The MPP should just focus on how to manage their own affairs and stop removing anybody who has a contradicting view or any other view that doesn't augur well for them.
Right.
You have internal issues. Sit with the Frimpong Boateng and discuss. You don't put it that you want to expunge the man from the party.
Right, thank you very much for calling. We appreciate you. We could do 2 more calls and then we'll speak to Vanessa. So please give us a call now. When you call, make sure that you're speaking to me on the phone, not listening to the television. Right. Hello, your name and where you're calling us from? Hello?
Hello.
Right. Please, what's your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Joshua. I'm calling from Kwashima.
Right. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I want to talk about the water issue or the crisis.
Okay.
I think our president should try as much as possible to sort out the water crisis for the people, because we don't want a situation where it becomes a political tool for people to be. Meanwhile, we know this is not any kind of politics.
Right.
But you know, in Ghana, whatever situation that emerges is now, or it becomes a political tool. So we urge the president to do something as soon as possible.
Are you having that challenge in your area?
Sometimes we do, but my area is the kind of people we have at my area. They don't care about anything. They don't care about anything. When they see pipe lines broken, they don't care. But when they see what the pipes are locked, then they begin to insult the government of the day. So sometimes the attitude now.
Right.
That we need to change our attitude.
Right. Thank you very much for calling.
The government.
Thank you very much for calling.
MPP, for me, who cares? Whatever they do is up to them.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let's do a final one, a final call. Then we'll speak to Vanessa. Yeah. So it's a very. I know quite a number of areas where the water situation is really, really bad. For Sakumono and Spintex, it's crazy in those areas. I have friends. I have some colleagues there. All right. Let's do a final one. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please, I want to contribute towards your program.
Please go ahead.
I bought a taxi about 2 years ago, and half a year ago, I went to Abosokan to purchase a second-hand engine, whereby the dollar was about 17 cedis to a dollar. It was being sold at 5,500 Ghana cedis.
Right.
And now people are saying the dollar is down, and now it's being sold about 9,000. How come? So we are all deceiving ourselves. That's why this is the contribution I want to make.
Right. Thank you very much. I see where you're talking from when we spoke to you, Dr. Ayoraka. That will be all for the phone calls now. Let's speak to Vanessa Edotumboate, my colleague. She's been on the ground. Vanessa, good afternoon. So just share with us, which areas did you go to this morning?
I went to Nongwa, Teshi, and then Teshi Mami and its environs. Yes, that's where I've been to today. And it's just about the water crisis. I mean, they have complained bitterly. Some said it's been 2 years since they've been having water issues. Others said it has been after the Christmas celebration. And one sad thing that I noticed is that people told me was that water has become so scarce in the area, such that people even queue at a toilet facility to fetch water from there. So it means that the water situation is not one that should be taken lightly. We are sitting on a health crisis, because if people are fetching water at a toilet facility, and these people are people that are using the water to cook. Some use it for, commercial purposes. And so it's important. One thing they also mentioned was that their member of parliament has not come to their rescue when it comes to the water situation. They've not seen him after the elections. That is what the residents said, that they've not seen him after the 2024 elections, and they are left to their fate. They've been calling on him for far so long to solve the water crisis that they have in the area.
Okay.
And he's not been doing anything. And they've been so, they want something to be, in fact, water has become... They
want the situation to be rectified as soon as possible.
So to them, water has become more like a privilege rather than a right. They are fetching water, what we normally call the Kufuor gallon.
Right.
They're fetching one for 5 cedis, 7 cedis. And a lady complained bitterly that she has 4 children and there is no water. And so they have to use a shower, which they normally pay for. One is, a person is 3 cedis. So every morning before her children gets ready for school, she has to pay for 4 children to go and take a bath. And she herself has not taken a bath since morning that we were talking to her. The time we were talking, she's not taking a bath. So they need something to be done now.
In terms of food, because when you're going to prepare food, you'd use water and will go out to buy from these vendors in the area. Were you able to speak to them? What do they use to cook and sell?
Yeah, so I spoke to some vendors and they say that they have to go and buy water.
The trucks that come with the water?
No. So they have people in the community that sells water. They have like a big reservoir that they sell water from. So when you fetch the Kufuor gallon, one is 5 cedis, and they have one also for 7 cedis. And you fetch a tank, 10 cedis, and they have also for 15 cedis. So it's like if you want to go and, if you are cooking, selling for the masses, and you want to go and fetch from that spot, you should be prepared to pay. And those that are queuing at the toilet facility to just fetch water, it's because that is cheaper. Where the toilet facilities where they fetch the water is cheaper than where they had to go and fetch at the reservoir. And so a lot of people tend to go and fetch at the toilet facility rather than the reservoir. So that's just like we are sitting on a health crisis, a time bomb or something, waiting for some. In fact, they need solutions now and not later. Right. That's.
Wow. I could just imagine how that is hitting their pockets, as you're saying, if you're having to pay for the whole family to go get a shower, to cook, and you're buying this. It's going to hit your pocket hard.
Very hard.
And of course, it's going to be because of that.
Yes, like on the screen, you see the jerry can. That's the big one. The yellow one is like 7 cedis, and it's comes at an expensive cost to them. Every day they have to pay money for water, and
Okay, right. So there you see some of the visuals from the area.
This is Tishi, Tishi Mami, yeah.
Right. So this definitely will be one that has been happening for a very long time, many years. Some of these things are happening. What did they tell you? Are the reasons? Do the authorities come there? What exactly is the situation with the water company and all that?
Yes, like I said, they said their member of parliament has not come to say anything to them about the water situation.
So they've actually been having water. They've had water flowing in the past.
Yes. Yes. Some said they started having this water issue 2 years ago.
Okay.
Others said it became severe right after the festive season. And one thing I'm excited about is that they tried very hard not to politicize this situation,
right?
Because they do not want it to look like it's about politics. They're not having water, it's about politics. They're saying that, in the previous administration we had water, in this administration there's no. They do not want to politicize that, and so they are calling for solutions now.
All right. So the Ghana Water Limited. This is a call to you to make sure that there's a way around this, really, because it's not just in Teshie, as I mentioned, many parts across the capital.
Exactly.
That is the situation. People would have to be queuing and all of that. It's a very, very sad situation. And Vanessa would definitely be on the grounds, moving from areas and all of that. I could imagine the hospitals.
So I went to Teshie Community Clinic. They said that they have a borehole that it's connected to their taps. So for them, they don't have water issues. But the community itself, they are in a dire need of water. So they need water.
Okay, so the hospital is using a borehole.
Yes, Teshi community. I went there. They said they are using a borehole, and it's connected to their taps in there. So for them,
right. So this is sad. We're definitely going to be keeping tabs on this and trying to engage the authorities there. Yes. Ghana Water Company Limited, the MCE,
yes,
the
Member of Parliament also
for the area. Let me just mention his name so he knows that we'll be coming to him.
Benjamin Aiku.
Yes. The Lejokuku constituency, the MP for the area is Benjamin Nate Aiku. Yeah. So, sir, we'll definitely be knocking on your doors as we try and get this to be done. Yes, with. Let's just find some solution to this. And we've been trying to reach Stanley Mate, who is Director of Communications or the PRO for the Ghana Water, and we haven't been able to reach him yet. And so we'll do that subsequently. We'll bring you the details of that. Vanessa, thank you very much for bringing us the updates. Right. Vanessa Edotumboating is with us here at Metro TV. So this is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of the program. Many thanks for joining us here on the show. For more news, log on to our website, metrotvonline.com. For all the stories, you'll find them there. And of course, on our Facebook platforms, Metro TV Ghana, also on DSTV 277 on 94.1 FM. To all of you, many thanks for watching, and to the production team, many thanks. My name is Desmond Okreku. We're back tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye-bye.